I genuinely don't know what I was doing or how I managed to overlook the Morgha. I mean, look at it. Like, how do you not notice that? So let us correct that silly mistake and check it out. Now you can get all the bits and bobs you need for the Morgha from Lloyd on Deimos. That being the blueprint for the weapon itself, but also blueprints for the other parts. You're gonna have to get one for the stock, one for the receiver, and one for the barrel. The damaged version of these, you need to build them, are also available from Lloyd, so you can literally just get everything from him. The Morgha is a fully automatic airburst mortar that fires 2 rounds with every shot, and it does primarily blast damage with the explosion and impact if you manage to hit something with the projectile. It sports a very solid 30% crit chance with a slightly above average 2.2 times crit multiplier, a 28% status chance, and the explosion has a range of 3 meters. But the Morgha also has a secondary fire which is charged with a primary fire. This fires a massive explosive round that explodes after either traveling 14 meters or when it directly hits something. This in atmosphere creates a 12-meter explosion that does 3,600 base damage, most of which is blast, and it has a 40% crit chance, a 3 times crit multiplier, and a 50% status chance. So let us give the Morgha a shot and see how it handles the new arcanes, shall we? I have a basic idea of what I want to do with this. The secondary fire on this, by the way, is mad. I think it is the biggest, heaviest hitting explosion of any weapon in the game. It is ridiculous. Look at the damage. 7,200. I'm not entirely sure I want to do Enervate because the crit chance is pretty decent, but I do want to try it out. It would be very terrific if we could make Crux work. If not, we're gonna run Merciless, but I do remember that the Morgha had some ammo issues when I played with it last time. The build's gonna be pretty basic again, not much we can do here. Get some critic in there, hallowed bullets, and critical focus. I would love to run gas and electricity on this, if at all possible. Both of these procs will stack Enervate, but they can't consume it. Also, I have no idea what we're gonna put here. Like, maybe, I don't think automatic trigger is that good of an idea. Let us see if this does what I wanted to. That ain't too bad, Chief. That ain't too bad at all. The damage is definitely on the, well, not the damage numbers are on the lower end. Let's try the secondary fire, and... yeah, that's big. Crack seems to be working well enough. Let's add Harold. He should help a lot with the heat and vital. Oh, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Well, we're gonna need Forma no matter what we do, so let's get that on. 1v, coming right up. This is a bad idea. Maybe a bad idea, but it is fun as hell. I like it. But I don't know if it will work in an actual mission. Damage seems pretty solid. Cracks is stacking. It's not stacking particularly fast, but if you can sustain it, then it doesn't matter. Okay, let's try the secondary. Okay. Yeah, I knew automatic trigger was a bad idea. Like, I've been dropping dispensary pretty diligently, and I'm almost out of ammo, like 2 minutes in. Oh my god, hold up. Where are you? Come here. Yeah, when I'm cautious with ammo, it's actually much better. You can see I actually have a full reserve right now. I still have to drop dispensary a lot, but yeah, I can actually sustain it. No, I whiffed. It doesn't matter, apparently. Yeah, the explosion is huge. We made it past the 10-minute mark, which is pretty important because at this point more heavy units will spawn and they will drop more ammo for you, so sustain gets a lot easier. Boonk. That does not get old. Hello. Bang, just point blank. Poor Acolyte just got a nuke shoved up its nose. Okay, we're gonna have to do like a very big switcheroo here. We're gonna go Flare instead of Enervate for a lot more damage. We're also gonna switch from Gas LE into, I think, Vital and Heat. We might even do full elemental mods instead of dual stats because we do have Crux. We're gonna need Parallax Scope for the crit chance, and I do have Avenger on my frame for extra 45% crit. I want more heat, so let's switch that to combustion rounds, which... right, elemental mods here are 120, not 90. Actually, we could just go double heat, like a soul. That gives us a much better ratio of heat and vital. Yeah, I actually like that. The last step in our big switcheroo is actually Harold. We're gonna swap him over to Corrosive and Cold. Right away, like as soon as Cascadia Flare kicked in, this is feeling much better. This is definitely the way to go. The best way basically to combat high ammo consumption is to just get more damage so you don't need to fire as many shots, which is precisely what the big switcheroo did. I need to keep an eye out on cracks because we're firing even slower now, so we're stacking it even slower than before. So I need to make sure I can actually sustain it. Let's try the secondary again. Whoa. Oh, 2.6. Damn, that's such a big explosion. Here comes the kaboom. Oh, 4.6 mil. Nice. Thunk. Boom. Man, do you know what I really adore about the secondary fire? It's the projectile speed. Like, they deliberately made the projectile slow, and it makes it so much better because there's this anticipation. You see the trail effect just going, and then boom. I don't think it would be as good if the projectile was faster. Oh, you poor fools, you never learn. Thunk. That is just funny. That is just funny. To be fair, I've not been dropping dispensary as much as I should have, perhaps. But still, even with more damage and lower fire rate, I am still running out of ammo. I guess that's just the downside of the Morgha. It just chews up ammo like crazy. So first things first, we're running Avenger. As always, 45% extra flat crit is amazing for basically every Archgun because their crit mods suck. And you will absolutely have to bring some form of ammo sustain. I'm using dispensary, but you could also use Lavos. Now for the build itself, we run prime dual rounds for multi-shot, a combination of critical focus, hallowed bullets and parallax scope for crit chance and damage, though bear in mind you will have to aim down sights to activate critical focus. And then we have magma chamber with combustion round for a ton of heat and a bit of status, as well as hypothermic shell and contamination casing for viral end status. For the arcanes, we're running primary cracks, which gives us a ton of status chance, and it helps with the ammo sustain even though it doesn't fix it completely, as well as Cascadia flare for just a truck ton of base damage. And finally, we get a little bit of help from our pet. I run Hound, Good Boy Harrow, that primes corrosive, impact, puncture, cold, radiation and magnetic. This helps quite a bit because it strips a little bit of extra armor with corrosive, gives us more crit chance with puncture, more crit damage with cold, and it helps us deal with overguard and shields thanks to magnetic. I can't believe I almost missed this gun. That would have been very sad indeed, because the Morgha is a lot of fun. It's a bit of a shame then that the Morgha is so difficult to sustain. It chews up ammo like crazy and you have to try really hard to not run out. It's unfortunate because it's way more fun to put an automatic trigger and just hold down the fire button. So while the Morgha looks great, sounds great, it does amazing damage, it's fun and it's relatively easy to get, it does have a very clear downside. But I would still recommend you give it a shot. And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Additionally, I would like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And I'll see you next time, bye bye.